Bonjour everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Françoise, the Guiding Star. I was hoping today for a sunny day to talk about the Leo full moon. And the sun is here, but hidden behind gentle clouds and there's a lot of wind. So I decided to take you high on the hills at a beautiful lookout of my village Coran, nested in the Nusa hinterlands. So here I am to share my insight on the full moon in Leo happening the 2nd of February 2026 at 8:08 a.m. Brisbane time, Queensland, Australia, and she's sitting at 13 degrees 3 minutes of Leo. And if you find this video useful, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, share it with your friends. It's really helped me a lot. And if you want a birth chart reading with me, just send me a message on my email, info@francoisemonroe360art.au. And look at me, I am under a beautiful fig tree. So you can see at the moment there's a lot of tension in the air, in the people around you, the way they drive their life. Our nervous system is highly triggered, especially around this full moon in Leo happening just after Mars went to conjunct and be in the heart of Pluto in Aquarius. Anytime Mars and Pluto conjunct, intensity is rising. Mars is ignition and Pluto is the underworld. When planets conjunct, it is a fusion of energy, total contact, and in Aquarius, this makes it more collective. So it is about groups, movements, but on the personal level, it is about individuation, breaking free from the trained personality, the conditionment. So with Mars conjunct Pluto, will you become a weapon or a warrior with conscience? The last time Mars conjunct Pluto was mid-February 2024 at 0 degree of Aquarius, and the first quarter of 2024 was dominated by a convergence of severe humanitarian, security and economic crises, with so many armed conflicts. This full moon in Leo promises to be particularly significant. Firstly, because it is the last one with Saturn in Pisces for the next 30 years. And secondly, because she's occurring on the Leo-Aquarius axis. This full moon is designed to open a much larger cycle because indeed soon we will have Jupiter entering Leo on the 30th of June, opposing Pluto in Aquarius. And on the 27th of July, we will have the lunar nodes starting their journey on the Leo Aquarius axis. So this lunation can therefore give us a foretaste of the major themes of the next 2 years coming, which should essentially center on a tension between everything that is about Leo versus Aquarius, individual versus collective, personal power versus power structures, and sovereignty versus authority. When we look at the chart of this full moon, it is already very telling. We see the moon alone in Leo, and we see the sun opposite, surrounded by 4 planets, the personal planet, a stellium, to support him during this full moon. So we see already that this full moon highlights a kind of imbalance. During the previous new moon on the 19th of January, we also had a stellium, but it was in the sign of Capricorn. So here in Aquarius, we have a completely different effect, especially with the presence of Pluto, which is very intense and electric and so incredibly liberating in Aquarius. So this full moon offers you opportunities. And the question is whether you are present and receptive to them. Because this will allow you to navigate the events of your life more serenely, with more dynamism and fluidity. However, if you go against these energies, well, navigation will be more difficult. So in this lunation, we have the moon in Leo ruled by the sun. So the sun becomes the most important celestial body of this full moon. Leo is a sign that speaks of the heart, creativity, generosity, courage, the courage to be yourself, of personal expression, joy, self-love, and also of romance, relationship. So what makes your heart beat? And Aquarius. Aquarius symbolizes the group, ideals, collective, progress. And in this light, a question arises: how to remain true to yourself while participating in the collective movement. In astrology, Leo is the ruler, and the ruling planet of Leo is the sun, representing the king, ministers, nobles, everyone of authority, and which has a distinction. The moon represents the people, women, crowds, the public. And Aquarius is a sign of the collective, of the people, and of associations. And at this full moon in Leo, the stellium in Aquarius, which is Pluto, Mars, Sun, Venus, and Mercury, reinforces an over-representation of the air element. And combined with the element of fire of Leo, we have a mix of explosive ideas, exchange, and action. We have an atmosphere that can favor strong attitudes, revelations, and the need to stand out and to overturn an established order. So with this stellium in Aquarius, we have a concentration of power, hence the idea of imbalance. And this stellium in Aquarius brings us an echo of the new Aquarian age that is opening, which speaks of freedom, liberation, innovation, and collective visions. This full moon comes after an extremely intense month of January, where we had 10 conjunctions, including 4 Casimirs. Casimir are exact conjunctions with the Sun. The personal planets, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, all passed through the heart of the Sun, but also they went through the heart of the planet Pluto as well. And most importantly, the last conjunction of Mars-Pluto on the 28th of January may have acted as a trigger, meaning it may have unleashed a radical transformative energy or a decisive power that can give rise to opposition, resistance, or even demands. So collectively, we may be in a moment where we can assert our sovereignty in the face of power. And this tension can translate into people movements, leadership crises, institutional crises, or even changes in structures of power. So same as in the first quarter of 2024, we can witness again crises all around the world at this time. We can see people mass movements challenging established powers, such as the use uprising in Indonesia and Nepal, the civil war in Myanmar, demonstration in Madagascar, the global economic crisis, armed conflict in Iran, in Burma and the Middle East, the Russia-Ukraine war, and so on. Global tensions are increasingly acute at this time. But all of this shows a call from the people to reclaim their sovereignty. Notice that this full moon is at 13 degrees of Leo, with the sun in opposition at 13 degrees of Aquarius. So first, it is very interesting to look in your birth chart in which houses these 13 degrees of Leo and Aquarius fall, to see which areas of your life are being impacted by this full moon. And it is interesting that this is the fourth consecutive full moon at 13 degrees. In astrology, 13 degrees is recognized as a powerful critical or karmic degree, often signifying intense transformation, profound change, or a death and rebirth experience. And in numerology, 13 is a powerful transformative number as well, symbolizing the end of old cycle and the beginning of new ones. And its primary focus is building a secure foundation for the future. As when we add 1 plus 3, we have 4, which is a foundation number. So this full moon speaks to us, to you, of courage, and also speaks of a great deal about communication, demands, and also speaks to us of the people. And the stellium in Aquarius, with Pluto, Mars, Sun, Venus, and Mercury, is under the custody of Uranus in Taurus, but also of Saturn in Pisces, because Saturn is the traditional ruler of Aquarius. In other words, the Aquarian energy of this full moon depends both on Saturn, which structures, channels, and provides framework, and on Uranus as well, which liberates, shakes things up, and accelerates change. Saturn in Pisces forces us to confront our ideas with reality. It demands that the ideals of Aquarius, that are liberty, progress, equality, and fraternity, be embodied in the material world. And Saturn is approaching Neptune to be in perfect conjunction the 21st of February, ending their synodic cycle of 36 years. So it's a big thing, big shift. So can we expect something to dissolve then? We will see what will happen. Uranus in Taurus, the modern ruler of Aquarius, shakes up stability as we know it. And this can also shake up the economy since he is still in Taurus. Uranus in Taurus, since 2019, finishes his long work of deconstructing our securities, our values system, our attachments, and imposes a concrete transformation, a change in what has been built in resources. In other words, with Uranus, it is not just the future that is calling, it is also the old world that is in the process of deconstruction. And under this full moon, this Uranian energy acts like a shock wave in a sign that does not like to move, Taurus. Here, Uranus introduces a tension between staying in your comfort zone and stepping outside of it to perhaps gain more freedom. That is why we see and we hear a lot about revolution around us at this time. And at this time, Uranus is in full preparation for a very important transit is entry into the sign of Gemini on the 27th of April. Uranus in Taurus also forms a good conversation, a sextile, with Saturn in Pisces. And this is far from insignificant because Saturn plays an almost karmic role in structuring this great change. Saturn in Pisces signifies the end of illusions. It is a moment when what wasn't clear must become clear or dissolve. It is also no coincidence that Neptune has just left Pisces to enter Aries a few days before this full moon on the 27th of January. So we are definitely in a new era. Therefore, Aquarius, through its ruler Saturn and Uranus, will receive contradiction signal. Saturn wants to solidify it. Since it's still in this porous Pisces, it can only reshaping. Whereas Uranus may want to overturn things. Both still want the same things. They want to change things, to change matter, to change the environment. The stellium in Aquarius, supported by Saturn and Uranus, gives us a full moon of transition, a time when each of us, at our own pace, our own level, can try to build a different future, but still taking into account the old world to have a slightly smoother transition. Here we have an equilibrist energy. We see that there is a vision, a direction in which we want to go, an ideal, but for the moment it is only an idea, and precisely it must be set in motion so that it can become a reality. When the sun is in Aquarius, it is said to be in exile. This means that the logic of I am is not very comfortable here. It is off-center. It can tend to dissolve into causes, concepts, ideals, sometimes at the expense of personal feelings and the heart. And it is precisely for this reason that the moon in Leo becomes so important. She comes to remind you of something very, very fundamental. A new world cannot be built without you connected to your heart. So this anti-Aquarian climate speaks of an awakening, not necessarily comfortable, but necessary to understand that the world, your world, is changing shape, and that your old points of reference can no longer function in the same way. And meanwhile, in the background of this full moon, there is Jupiter. Jupiter is still retrograde in Cancer without any major aspect or conversation with the sky, the rest of the sky, but he is ruled by the moon, which is full in Leo. Jupiter acts like a silent nostalgia, a small inner voice. He whispered in your ears, perhaps it was better, simpler before. But this nostalgia is there not to hold you back. It is there to help you understand what you are leaving behind. So this full moon invites you to several things. With the element of Leo, she invites you to be authentic with yourself, not to minimize your emotions. This full moon highlights what touches your heart, to express your feeling without compromise, to truly connect with your inner radiance. So there is this idea of radiating your inner authenticity from the heart, to manifest your truth. It is such a beautiful invitation, isn't it? So during this full moon in Leo, the sun in Aquarius illuminates your electromagnetic field. And that means that your heart, my heart, all our hearts are sources of radiance and magnetism. The heart within each of us is the center of our magnetic field. We are talking about the law of attraction here. And at this time, this full moon, there is a connection between Leo, the heart, the sun, and thought as well, because Mercury is part of the Aquarius stellium, and that each thought creates a frequency that influences our reality and the people around us as well. Here I feel a strong resonance with the first principle of the lunar philosophy, Ike. Ike, the world is what you think it is. Be aware. So during this time of challenging changes, we can use Ike for sending healing vibrations. For this, you need to shift your perspective. Do not focus on the illness, the suffering, or the pain, as this reinforces it in your reality. Instead, hold a firm, unwavering mental image of the person as completely healthy, vibrant, and happy. Like that, you are creating a new, healthy reality with your thoughts. And believe that your intention has a direct impact on their well-being. By applying Ike, you are changing your internal world to positively impact the external world of another. Isn't it beautiful? So during this full moon, with the moon in Leo, opposite this stellium in Aquarius, Uranus amplify your capacity to transform and liberate what holds you back. So you are truly invited to dare to express your light, to follow your intuition, and to activate your personal potential. And you might feel a calling from your heart to act differently, to launch a project in an innovative way, much different from what you have done until now. And to make bold decisions as well. And even if the past seems uncertain, if you don't have a clear vision, it is your heart or your intuition that guides you. Your heart that shows you the way, your unique and true path. So this full moon in Leo is a moment to emerge, to free yourself from everything that was dimming or restricting your light. This full moon brings you back to your childlike side, to playing, back to your audacity, rejoicing, and also to the games of love. She wants you to be in love with yourself and with your life, appreciating life with a touch of lightness, to take pleasure in your projects, whether it is a hobby, a professional project, an artistic endeavor, and to allow yourself to enjoy it and to approach your actions with passion, with curiosity, with freshness. It is a moment to dare to shine, to share your light, and to simply radiate without compromise. I am who I am, and I am radiating. So practice listening to your heart before listening to your mind. It is something you may hear often for sure, but this full moon in Leo truly encourages you to do it as a practice of real wisdom. And if the direction seems uncertain, then follow your intuition and remember to take a deep breath before making any decision. Because your breath is there for you to calm down, to center yourself, to be more in tune with your heart. And above all, this full moon in Leo invites you to express your creativity. So enroll in an art class. You are welcome, very welcome to come to mine if you live nearby me. Every Monday afternoon, the door is open. You are not asked to be an artistic genius, but everyone is an artist when we put colors on the canvas of our lives. And with Mercury part of the stellium in Aquarius, perhaps you will try writing, automatic writing. Keep a journal with words or with drawings or collages. And with Uranus in Taurus, express yourself with pottery. Aquarius also speaks of frequencies and vibrations. So make music or use your body as an instrument and dance your life. Anything that makes your heart vibrate, anything that allows you to radiate. It is an act of profound freedom, where joy and inner radiance are the expression of the highest creativity and vice versa. So at this full moon in Leo, embrace your personal power. Follow your heart and let yourself be guided toward your most authentic truth. 2026 is a number 1 year. And on the 17th of February, with the Chinese New Year's, we enter the year of the fire horse. So there is a very strong idea of renewal here as well. The fire horse brings an unpredictable period of intense transformative energy that can be described as too hot to handle for some. So you are encouraged to use patience and balance to manage this high-paced energy and take time to tame your beautiful horse. Ultimately, this full moon in Leo brings you to the question, in a world that is changing rapidly, in a system that is transforming, where many reference points are shifting, am I still living my life? Ask this question. It's very important. So, you see, this full moon doesn't ask you to have all the answers. She doesn't even ask you to know exactly where you are going. She simply invites you to remain coherent even during times of change. This is a full moon that reminds you that a new world cannot be built without you, very present, very embodied in yourself and true to yourself. I hope this video has helped you better understand the symbolism of this full moon. Thank you for listening. And I wish you a wonderful full moon in Leo, full of courage. See you and full of light. See you soon for the next one. May we all walk the trail of our heart with love and light. Thank you so much.